I would say the last 10 years have just flown by. I want to ask the question, where did the time go? Belinda, we will have been married 38 years in January. Her mantra is, I signed up to follow you. And she's always believed in me. And that little gift that she gives me to believe in me is like dynamite. I could just, it's like an engine packed full of fuel. I can take off with that one look that she'll give me, or, that just small word of encouragement. I really do believe I can do it, whatever it is, And that's kind of been how we worked. I am not doing this by myself. People probably get tired of me saying it, but 140 years is 140 years. I think probably the strongest asset is that we've been doing the same thing for 14 decades, and we're good at it. And I think we carry with us, with our style of service and ministry, a global standard that's really hard to match. I think the most important thing that lies before us in the next 10 years is to become crystal clear about what we do. And you would think after 140 years we should know, but we still are always trying to define it so that it's contextually appropriate and it matches the 21st century now into the third decade. Now we're beginning in 2020. With the idea of being real specific about who we are and what we deliver and how we do it, lasering those approaches that then make it irresistible for donors to say, I want to be a part of that. There's great joy in knowing the brand called Buckner means something, that people come to expect a certain level of quality and excellence. I would say not perfection, because we don't really aim for perfection. We try to do our best, and we sure aim for excellence. And when we try to do that, more often than not, we do see excellence on a regular basis, because then that attracts people that want to be on a winning team. And the quality and caliber of individuals that want to work at Buckner just amazes me. And it's a joy to see that people are attracted to a faithful Christian mission now for 140 years. When I first was elected in January of 2010, one of the things that marked that day was a ceremonial passing of a photograph and a book. The book is the life and works of R.C. Buckner. It's his ministry written by his friends. And then there was also a framed picture of the chapel that he built on the historic campus after sort of a wrecking crew went in and began to tear it apart. Sort of a sacred thing to then go in and tear it apart. And what Dr. Hall said to me that day was, Buckner's still here because we've never been afraid to change. And that just really anchored in my mind that we're still here because we've been willing to adapt. One of the things that has been a pretty major shift for the work that we do with children and families is that heretofore all the work of children and families and social services is done after there's been a hurt, after we might say an abuse, an abandonment, a neglect of a child, a family falling apart. We began in 2008 in Guatemala City to ask the question, what if we get ahead of the problem? What if we reach into a community and engage families that haven't experienced that hurt that's devastating, where you have to separate children from their family? And what if we could begin to bring solutions to help struggling families get stronger and more successful, and to the point where they don't need our help anymore? We called it the Community Transformation Center, and later we changed the name to the Family Hope Center. And we've been doing it now for a little bit better than 10 years. Now there are 26 Family Hope Centers. The 27th one will be opening in January of 2020 to serve the Bachman Lake area. When we reflect on what we've done, and other people who are experts in the field talk about what we've done, they've declared, you're the only social service agency in that space. Everyone else is reactive. You're the first and only agency that's doing proactive work, strengthening families and getting ahead of the issue. So I would say that that's probably the most radical change that I've seen. We still do foster care and adoption. We still do family pathways. But this is new, and it's groundbreaking. And what I've learned recently is that you can spend money on the prevention side, or you can spend a whole lot of money after the damage has been done. The 10th anniversary of our work in Mexico, in the ceremony, one of the children, one of the boys, Daniel, presented a wooden replica of Noah's Ark. And what he said was, Buckner is like an ark, and when we go inside, we feel safe. And what I didn't know was how Daniel got to be at Buckner. He was sent out to the streets to sell trinkets, jewelry, bracelets, and things by his mother, and his mother said, you need to sell this much, and if you don't, you're going to be punished. So he went out. Of course, he came in, they counted the pesos and the merchandise, and she said, you didn't meet your quota, so I'm going to punish you. So she sat him down in a chair, took his socks and shoes off, and grabbed a knife and began stabbing his feet. And he was moving his feet to dodge the knife. He saw a policeman and said, I can't go home. My mom's abusing me. She's stabbing me. So that's how he landed at Buckner. So that night when he was saying, Buckner's like an ark, and when we go inside, we feel safe, it had a totally different meaning for me. And that just seared in my mind that how many Daniels are out there that are being hurt, and Buckner is like an ark. And when you go inside, you're safe. So I saw him a few years later doing great. He wants to be a teacher. He's been adjusted. He's, gotten therapy for the abuse. He'll probably never be the same, but he's better now. Scripture talks about faith, hope, and love. We don't lead with faith and we don't lead with love. We lead with hope because we engage people and encounter people that are in desperate situations. What we're doing is making a difference, and it's fulfilling. And it does bring a sense of joy to us when we see senior adults, children, and families, that what we've done has made a difference in their lives that day, that week. That's where the joy comes from.